Mortgage professionals are using artificial intelligence to chase business. Some of it is working, some of it isn't. My name is Kimberly Hawes, and I will be the host of this podcast. We sat down with Coach Ron Vaimberg, the author of The Purchase Shift, Winning Agent Relationships with Authentic Connection and AI. He gave us his perspective and insights on the latest trends in technology and offered advice for loan originators who are interested in combining the timeless principles of human influence with the power of artificial intelligence. Ron, it's been a while since we had the opportunity to catch up. Since then, you've published a new book. Tell us all about it.
Well, my new book was published, I believe it was May 13th. It's called The Purchase Shift, Combining Authentic Connection, Winning Agent Relationships Through Authentic Connection and AI. And it's been received incredibly well. Not just through sales, which is really not what was it about, but it's really many industry leaders have reached out to me. We've sent them books. We've also had a number of people that have purchased it and given feedback saying that the timing of it really couldn't be better because it's hitting until rates drop, the two most important topics: winning referral partner relationships and AI, and putting the two pieces together.
So tell us a little bit about those two topics and why they're so important right now when the market is down.
Well, the reason why purchase business is such an important topic, first of all, I come from the place that I don't care what rates are. Purchase business is always important. Even during the COVID years, I was talking about how you want to do the refis, but you can't take your eye off the ball on purchase business and relationships because the market's going to change, and it never changes slowly. It always changes just like that. And January 2022, and I don't predict interest rates, but I was proven right that rates will change, and they change quickly. And when they go up, it tends to slow things down much faster. So that's what happened in 2022. So getting purchase business is always key. As far as AI, first of all, everything is AI. You hear it 1,000 times a day, and it can be overwhelming. But it's understanding, really, at least for today, the role AI plays in our business. And there's some people that completely get it, especially the more techie people. But a lot of the average originators, or typical originators, they're not using AI anywhere close to what they can to make their life easier and to be more productive. So that's really why these two things are so important. And 3 months from now, 6 months from now, we might be having a different conversation about AI because that's how fast things are changing. Every 5 minutes, there's a new AI program. Some of them are really good. Some of them are not so good. But if you slap AI on something, it seems like somebody will pay for it.
Tell us how AI is improving that purchase side of originations when it comes to maybe generating new leads, things of that nature.
There are so many different applications for AI. There are AI programs like SmartWriter, which will go into, you connect it to your social media feed. It'll go into to LinkedIn, for example. It'll read other people's posts and create dialogue to engage those the posts, to engage the author of those posts. And it essentially starts a conversation electronically, automatically. The individual doesn't have to, by LinkedIn, I wouldn't have to do it. Now, I've been tiptoeing very cautiously into anything like this because I have found that AI across the board still can't speak like me. I've tried training it to speak like me, and I've made some progress, but it's becoming easier and easier to detect what's been written by AI. So that's where the authentic connection comes in, that you can use AI to speed thoughts together. Some people believe you can just let it, set it, forget it, and let it be you. I haven't crossed over that far because I've seen people use it with me, and I can instantly tell when they're using it with me, and I don't like it.
Right. I was just going to ask about that authenticity of a connection, of a relationship with another person, and how important it is to have that authentic feel. And you get to know people, you get to know their language, and people's language changes through different relationships and stuff as well. So I wanted to find out more about that. But can you bring it to a certain degree? Like, say, for example, like you said, you can get programs that can read other people's posts and create a dialogue. Can you set it to a certain degree where where you can say, oh, I see that this person, my friend Henrietta, is looking for a house. And maybe she would like some more information, and just I would like to know that she's looking for a house. She's my friend on social media.
It automatically through AI, it is conversational. So it's reading what someone has written and it creates responses based upon that. So there's a limited amount of training that you don't even have to do a whole lot with it because it's already instinctively reading what that person wrote. But I have not come across where I can set it, well, these people are now in a category of my friends, so we're going to speak to them differently. Now, that may very well exist, or if it doesn't exist today, it will become something that exists. But for the most part, what AI is doing, the same way you can go into Chat GPT and you can type into chat and you can type in 4 sentences, incorrect grammar, you name it. I know this because I do it and I type it really fast, and yet it'll still read exactly, or it'll understand exactly what I'm asking it. And so basically translates I don't want to say gibberish, but it translates my real fast thought process into a cohesive understanding of what question I'm asking it, or what action I'm looking for it to take. And so it's able to do the same thing where based upon all different types of social media posts, and obviously we're going to create targets of where we're looking for it to connect based upon what topics. But as far as really discerning the difference between a relationship that I have with one person versus another, a lot of that's going to have to do with what it's reading. It's
Right.
what it's responding to, which is where there are limitations, at least for now, and they'll always, they're going to keep stretching it further and further. But it's great. It can be great at starting a conversation. It can be great at sending an inquiry. But on the flip side of it, you've also got to be careful because I see this happen, and maybe you see this as well. Somebody asks for a connection, and maybe the connection's done electronically, maybe the connection's done manually by the person. And immediately I'm getting a solicitation for something. So it immediately goes from connecting to offering some type of service, product, what have you. There's some type of solicitation. And I can immediately tell that this is completely automated and it's completely disingenuous, and it immediately turns me off. And I'm not going to sit here and say that that doesn't work. It just doesn't work with me. And I've had the conversation with many people, and they feel the same way, that the moment they feel it's automated, there's almost a disconnection that can happen.
Mm.
I was reading an article yesterday or 2 days ago. It was either Bloomberg or the Wall Street Journal. I think it was the Wall Street Journal, one of those two publications online. And it was talking about how call center people are getting very upset because they're constantly being accused of being AI, and that they actually have to work extra hard to convince people that they are not AI and that they're human. So this whole shift over to technology, in some cases, it's helping. In other cases where we're talking about really, having human engagement, human interaction, it's upsetting a lot of people simultaneously. So there's not one way to look at this. You got to be careful on how you're implementing it and really pay attention to what is happening. That's really what I'm telling people to do. You want to start implementing, you want to have it start doing dialogue? Great. But you can't just set it and forget it, because you have to see what kind of responses are being generated from what your AI is doing. And are you really connecting more, or are you disconnecting? And I find that a lot of people don't even pay attention to that. They just buy into set it, forget it, and let it do all the work, because that's what the AI companies are telling you to do. And that's where I really believe that there's becoming a greater disconnect, and it's only going to get worse.
I guess that's why I was poking around with that, like to find out if there's a way that you can not set it and forget it, but get to stop it. And it's a research, and then you can, as a human, take control back again. Can you mine the same resources?
Yes.
For leads, and then maybe say, okay, that's all I need, because now I'm gonna go to my Rolodex. And now, of course, everybody's Rolodex isn't their cell phone, but you know what I mean? Like, go back through my contacts and say, I'm going to make a human connection. I know best how to connect with this person based upon how I know them, whether it be through email. Some people like to be called, some people like a text message. You know what I mean? And then you take back that human control, but you use the technology to that point.
Depending on which AI system you're using, yes, all of them, or many of them, have all different types of settings for customization. They all do. And I'll be very transparent. These are things I'm still figuring out personally. I'm not, you're interviewing me. I know I wrote a lot in my book about it, and I study it every single day, but I would never even consider myself a guru in it, because it's just changing so fast. And just trying to keep up. But I am finding that there's more and more customization that you can do. But I'm also finding that the majority of people won't take the time to customize, because that requires additional effort. I'll give you this is one of the most blatant examples of what I'm talking about. And I guarantee, as soon as I tell you this, you and anybody who's watching this or reads about this, wherever they're going to see this, is going to agree. More and more, you're seeing emails, you're seeing webinar invites with I'll call it the classic chat GPT emojis, the calendars, the faces. Just think about it for a second, and you're going to start seeing more and more of these, if you pay attention to it, in your emails. And this is more and more people that are just cutting and pasting. They put something in the chat GPT, they ask it to write it, it writes it, they copy, they paste it, and they leave all of this stuff in there. Now, in the beginning, yeah, that was pretty cool, because now I've got some new things in my email. But now, when I keep getting email after email after email, and I can see these emojis, what do you think I'm going to think? That the person made more effort or less effort to communicate with me?
Less effort.
Right. And the moment I start thinking somebody made less effort to communicate and engage with me, are they going up on my list, or are they going down on my list?
Well, they're going down on your list. And I think to a certain degree, if it's from somebody who purportedly knows you, it hurts even more. You know what I mean? Than I'd rather have like a common anonymous solicitor approach me in that way than somebody who purportedly knows me more.
It's that, but it's just the less effort someone demonstrates that they're making to communicate, the less credibility they're going to have, and the more noise is going to be around. And I'm seeing this noise grow exponentially. It's the same as a company, and it's great that they offer this, but a company that has a done for you newsletter. Okay. And our mortgage industry has tons of them. The real estate industry has tons of them. It's a great concept. It puts your picture, it puts all your information in there, and then the content's all pre-written. That's wonderful until I get the second version of the same newsletter from somebody else. So I understand this is the world that we live in, and this progress is not going to stop. But my whole thing with AI is I love it. I use it every day. My assistant Maria uses it constantly.
Mhm.
But there's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness. And a lot of people, in my opinion, are using it for efficiency, but they're not paying attention to effectiveness, if that makes sense.
Now, I know a lot of times people get really busy, right, in life, and they just assume that whatever is the latest thing, whatever is being devised, is going to be the most efficient and effective, right? Like the two you should work together, especially if you're taking on a new product, something different that you haven't done before, some kind of way of reaching people, whether it be through a newsletter or something of that nature, like you just mentioned that. So I think that's probably top of mind. But how do you truly measure the quality over the quantity, in your opinion, Ron?
How do you measure the quantity?
The
You know what?
quality
The
over the
the
quantity.
quality over the quantity. Um, that's a tough question to answer. Um, that's a really, you know what? I honestly don't have an answer to that question because I've always been about quality and quantity, but I don't ever sacrifice quality for quantity. Those are my values. Okay. Those are my values. I'm not saying if anybody has the reverse, they're wrong. Absolutely not. But those are my core values
Mhm.
that I'd rather less go out if it's more quality. And to me, we are in a business that we have to engage with people. And we're in a business that's highly emotional. If it's a realtor trusting a loan officer, they're trusting their commission.
Right.
If a borrower trusting a loan officer, they're trusting their finances, their house. And AI has proven up until this point that it cannot do that as well as human beings can.
Now, are there AI systems that loan originators can use that aren't necessarily speaking for them? Maybe they can do some of the other background tasks that need to happen out there, like, say, for example, transcribing
Oh,
important
yeah.
phone calls, things of that nature. Maybe we could talk a little bit about that.
That's a real easy one. It's one of the reasons why everything I do on Zoom. I do everything on Zoom because I don't take notes anymore. I bought an iPad 2 years ago strictly for taking notes because I wanted to get rid of paper. I don't take notes anymore because AI summaries, whether it's Zoom summary, whether it's Otter, whether it's Fathom, these are all different AI programs. And if you ever do a webinar to a group of people, you're going to see these AI note takers all coming on. And they're great because they're great at summarizing what was discussed. I used to have to write down everything that I did on a coaching call. Now I've got an AI summary that immediately triggers me to know exactly what we spoke about. If I want something in great detail, for example, if I'm teaching something on a coaching call, I'm giving somebody specific scripting. Well, the AI summary isn't going to do that, but an AI note taker will. For meetings, when you're meeting with customers, it's a great idea, especially if you're doing it virtually, um, because then this way, if there's ever something that they're saying, I didn't say this, or you have all that information. Even on our phones now, one of the recent upgrades for an iPhone, okay? Telephone calls. You can hit a record button now and you can record phone calls with obviously the consent of the other party. But my clients will sit there and tell customers, if it's okay with you, I'm going to record the conversation. So this way I don't miss anything and I
Yeah.
can make sure. So this is a tool that absolutely every LO, every salesperson should be using every single day wherever possible, because it's giving you back. First of all, it's saving you a lot of time. You don't miss anything. And it also gives you the ability that if you really want to transcribe something, it's all right there.
And you mentioned, coaching calls. You are a person who trains people in this space and answers many questions outside of obviously artificial intelligence for people. What are some of the things that people have been asking you about recently, Ron? And this can be on any topic. It's been a hard year yet again for originators. What are people asking you about, and what advice are you giving them?
Um, a lot of people are asking me how to save time. And so there's all sorts of AI programs that will prioritize your schedule. You can put in the activities, it'll schedule it out. You can give parameters on what it's supposed to be working within whatever hours. I mean, you can set up all of this guidance so it'll then plug in things into your schedule. So time management is one big one. Prospecting. A lot of people, I just did this the other day where I was working with a coaching client, relatively new coaching client, and he was working with a certain type of lead. He was an outside LO, he's an inside LO. And we were talking about trigger leads and different type of leads that he was getting. And he had asked me a question. I said, you know what? Let's go into AI. Let's ask ChatGPT. So I went into ChatGPT and I literally wrote, I'm a mortgage loan officer. I took on the persona. I'm a mortgage loan officer. These are the type of leads I'm getting. Give me 5 messages that I can leave on voicemail that are quick, effective, and will increase the likelihood of me getting a response back from the customer who's getting bombarded by phone calls. And it gave me 5, of which 2 were really good. I needed to do a little bit of tweaking in my own opinion, and the LO agreed with me. 1 was okay, and 2 of them were horrible, in my opinion. And my client was in complete agreement with me on those results. So what did it do? I even said to him, I go, well, this just saved me 30 minutes. Because I don't know if I would have come up with all of this, but I would have come up with other things. But we got it done in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. But I knew how to tweak it because there were certain things that were written by chat that were not normal language patterns that we would use. Then I said, give me 5 texts that go along with this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what was amazing? 2 were good. 1 was okay. 2 were bad. And the 2 were good. Were the 2 that aligned with the voicemail. The one that was okay aligned with the one that was okay in the voicemail. And the 2 that were bad, they aligned also. So it saved a tremendous amount of time. But my client says to me, goes, wow, how did you know how to do that prompt? So that leads to another question. People are asking, how do you figure out what prompts to write?
Right.
And, they call it prompt engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's engineering because I failed engineering in college. I just asked ChatGPT a question as if I was talking to another human being. And if I don't get the answer, I continue to communicate back with it as if it was a human being.
Right.
And I always seem to get to the answers that I want because I'm not thinking like an engineer. I'm thinking like a person. Does that make sense?
It does. It does, because it's supposed to be based upon conversation. Well, Ron, it has been such a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for listening to the Mortgage Note podcast. My name is Kimberly Hawes. Have a great day.